All right, bam, we're live. Getting set up. Today we're going to talk about some automations. Get everybody on board here. Welcome if you're new. Let's get this guy going. All right, we're good. So let's get into some automations. Welcome. If you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. And we're talking automations, estimating. So if you have any questions about remodeling, feel free to ask. Just getting started here, so I'm getting a couple things set up. George, welcome. What part of the country are you from? All right. This is on YouTube and TikTok. So basically the first few minutes I'll do some talking, and then unless people are asking questions. All right, so let's get started. Is your remodeling business even online? That's the thing today. I'm still coming across a lot of remodelers that don't have a good presence. I mean, yeah, I could probably find you if I Googled you real hard, but I mean, tell me about your landing page. What does your initial Facebook page look like? How about your Instagram, right? Do you have a landing page? Can you collect an email from a homeowner and then start communicating with them online while you're on the job site or while you're sleeping? You know, this is what's happening right now. It's 2026, and you have a lot of people that while they're at work, they're shopping and they can't talk on the phone. They're doing it online. So, and the challenge is that a lot of guys that don't have an online presence, if you don't have a landing page and automation, you don't even know how much it could be helping you because nobody's even finding you because you can't be found. And yet the guys that have the landing page and have the automations, they're kind of quietly laughing to the bank because of how easy it is to get these things set up. So I know it's challenging. There's a lot of new things happening, but I can landing pages, automations, workflows, triggers, they're here to stay. And you're just seeing more and more of them. So for instance, you contact my company, you want a bath estimate. We are automatically going to put your name, email, phone number into our system. As soon as we're done talking to you from the initial phone call, we are sending information out to you. More stuff about our company, maybe a guide or checklist about how to go forward with the project that you're looking for. We are letting the automations and other information help sell for us so that, hey, Fred, welcome. Glad to see you here. Yeah, brother. All right. Yeah, so tonight I'm going to get into a little more detail, some of the stuff we were talking about earlier. And just, walking through it. So glad you're here. And hey, if you have any questions, just pop them in. So some of this might sound familiar. Some will be a little different. In most sales situations, what I've learned over the years is a certain percentage of people are ready to purchase right away. You can close deals over the phone. You don't even have to go on site sometimes. There's a certain percentage of homeowners that are just ready. There's another set of 20% of homeowners that need just a little confirmation from you. So they're the ones that sometimes you might have to have a second phone call or a site visit. Then there's another percent of people where they are in their buying cycle. They need more time. So these are the ones where the automated systems can really help benefit you because they're not necessarily ready. They thought they were ready. They had you come out. They told you they were ready. But when they started hearing pricing and they got overwhelmed and they saw like all the mess that's going to happen and the work on their end. And so they end up pulling back and it takes them a month or so. But then they come back around and they're ready. You want to be there in the background the whole time so they don't forget about you. Because what often happens is when they go and they are now finally ready the second time, they might start all over with some new contractors if you weren't staying up with them. So that's where all these automations can help. About 28% of people that you meet with won't buy right away. So there is a large percentage of people that they will buy, but just not right now. They thought they were ready. All right. And that's where a lot of these, hey, Tenacious K, welcome back. Good to see you guys. Welcome. We're just talking about some automations and buyer psychology and what's happening. So understand that even the best salespeople can't close every single deal. All right. If you close the majority of your deals, then most likely you're not charging enough. But I've never met anyone that closes 100%. Okay. But if you start getting higher percentage closing, like 60 and 80%, you're probably not charging enough. So you should be charging more. And then it becomes improving your sales ability, improving price, and keeping that sales rate probably around 50%. 30 to 50% is good for remodelers. Okay. And think about this. You are going to close additional deals on the back end by having a follow-up system. So it can be as simple as this, a monthly newsletter that you send out. Our phone will start ringing usually within a few hours of when we send out a monthly update. It goes out to over 1,000 people. And all of a sudden, somebody out of that 1,000 is like, we're ready to do something now. Sometimes they're not even ready to do the thing that I originally estimated. Something has changed. I might have talked to them about a kitchen 6 months ago, and they never went forward with the kitchen. But now all of a sudden, they need a new roof. And because I stayed in touch with them through emails, text messages, maybe I sent them something in the mail, all of a sudden now, they're like, hey, Mike, we liked you when you came out last time. Can you help us with this problem? And all of a sudden, it's a new problem, but they'll call you if you stay with them. So hopefully you guys are following along and that makes sense to you. So as the company grows, you should be collecting all your names in a CRM. If you don't have a CRM, basically you can create one with an Excel or spreadsheet or a Google Sheet, right? Name, the date you met with them, their phone number. Hopefully you're getting a cell phone number, their email address, their physical property address, the type of project they were interested in initially. If you did quote them, how much did you quote or put out as your bid? And then you want a way to follow up with these people, right? So, all right. Anybody have any questions? Please fire away. Otherwise, I'm going to keep moving on. We also like to get into, I think, look at it this way. A lot of younger homeowners today don't like to use the cell phone to talk. If you're an older gentleman in the industry and you're used to talking to people over the phone, the newer generation doesn't buy that way. They're actually intimidated to talk on the phone. They're scared of the phone. The only way they like to use the phone is online. They don't like face-to-face. So by you not having that option for them to communicate farther with you because you don't have messaging set up on your website or an easy way for them to request more information and at least have an email dialogue, you're losing clients that you just don't even know exist because older generation, they don't want all the automations. They want to call you on the phone. So that's why in our business, we tend to have to do a lot of different things to try to attract clients. Okay. And yes, it gets frustrating. Inside Out, welcome. If you guys are new and you have any questions, just pop it in the chat. Let me know what part of the country you're from. I'm just talking about automations until I see some questions, just to keep things moving along. So, my parents, for instance, just hired somebody to replace the front door to the house. And they called off of a flyer. It's a little dollar bill ad that comes in like a Val pack. I don't know if you guys have that in your area. They paid that contractor really well. When I saw the price, I was like, my parents probably should have shopped around. But they do their own thing. I have a cousin who's younger, like 35. They needed some replacement windows. They did everything online. They never even talked to the guy until he showed up the day to give him the final price. They messaged back and forth. She took photos around the house and they gave her a preliminary estimate, and she never even talked to them on the phone. So I want you to think about, like, that's where the industry is kind of moving. And she didn't want to talk to anybody. She was happy to take the pictures from all four sides of the house. And believe it or not, a smart contractor can get a pretty good estimation of the dimensions, rough enough to give you a ballpark, an estimate over the phone. You don't need to go out on site for everything, as long as the homeowner is giving you a couple photos. And when he provided them with a range, he said the price is going to be between this and this. She's like, yeah, that sounds good. And he's like, great, I'm going to come out. He charged a measure fee. And he said, I'll make final measurements and I'll present you the final price and we can go ahead and get started. And then boom, it was sold. So, all right. Who else? Welcome, guys. Good to see you in here. If you have any questions about automations, CRM, sales, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to keep talking on a few things here. What do we have? So landing pages are kind of becoming a thing, but basically all that means is you have a URL on the web that has content about your company, and it allows for collection of data. It lets the prospect, the homeowner, put their name and a phone number or their name and an email in so that you get that data, and then you can further converse with them. Maybe you send them some buying information, a guide. Maybe you're going to follow up to set an appointment to talk to them over the phone. So again, these are like some basic things that you should have. The contact us page that a lot of people have on a website, yeah, that works if you have nothing else. But a landing page tends to work a little better for someone who maybe doesn't know us that well yet. All right. So you'll hear me in a bunch of my videos talk about something I call the Digital Foreman. So really what's happening is all this is work, and it's work that we used to do one-to-one. Like if a customer calls me, I have to answer the phone. Then I have to take my Weed the Lead form and I write down and ask them some questions. It's my intake form like a doctor's office uses, but we have one for remodelers. And I'm determining if this is the type of customer that I want to work with or not. And then I need to do some follow-up, right? And possibly set another appointment, remind them of the appointment, right? A lot of people will forget. All of that now can be done online through your system. You don't have to be the one doing all the reminders and sending out the information. It's all in the computer. So this is how you can start handling more volume. Okay, you can handle more leads, you can handle more sales, you can handle more business, because it's as if you've hired another employee. And that's what we call the Digital Foreman. And it helps you, and it's helping nurture. There's the term is called nurture. If you meet with somebody and they don't buy from you, a lot of us by default tend to never follow up with those people. But you want to keep following up with them. We just don't have time to keep. Could you imagine if every day you tried to have to figure out who do I text, who do I call, who do I email? It's a nightmare. But when you put it into your database and it's already automated that in 3 days, you're going to send a follow-up email. And then in 7 days, they're going to get another one. And then in 21 days, they're going to get another one. And then in 45 days, they'll get another one. Now it becomes much simpler. Okay. So basically this Digital Foreman, the concept, hey guys, welcome, is that it sells while you're sleeping. It organizes your leads so that you don't have to chase so much. And it helps build trust. Okay. The more that the homeowner gets to know you ahead of time, the easier and more comfortable they'll be around you when you finally do meet face to face to get them to sign paperwork, if that's your process, or if it's over the phone. Okay. Because in this business, homeowners are nervous. They're leery. And the more time that we can get in front of them building trust, then the better things are going to be for all of us. Oftentimes, homeowners will say that our price is too high as a safe defense. And it's smart. If I'm a consumer and I'm not sure yet who I'm going to buy, I'm going to say the price is too high. And I want to see if you defend your price or stand by it, or if you drop right away. If you drop right away, then I win. Right? But if you come back to me and ask me some questions like, why do I think the price is too high? What kind of research have I done? Did I get other estimates first? Or am I sure that the estimates that I'm comparing to this estimate, are they the same? Are you sure they're the same? How about the level of risk? Is that other person trustworthy? Are you sure they're licensed? Are they not? How about, are they using somebody else's license? Did you check? Did you look them up online? How many lawsuits have been filed? Did you check your local government website? You know, the court search, the history where you can go. Have they closed a few other businesses? That's what some contractors do. They stay in business for like 3 years, steal a bunch of deposits. And then when the lawsuits start coming, they shut that business down. And then a month later, they open up as a new company, fresh start. Like, do you know the history of the person you're trying to deal with? These are all valid questions to be putting out and asking a homeowner whenever the homeowner wants to start questioning my price. If they want to question my price, I have some questions for them about, well, how do you know that my price maybe isn't as agreeable or as good as you think it might be? So these are things that we have to be doing in the background or in front of the homeowner. All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome. If you have any questions, please let me know. Anything at all about automations or estimating. So I'll keep going here until I see some questions. In the online space, this Digital Foreman, a lot of things that are happening are called triggers, right? And workflows. A trigger just means an event caused the next step in your process. The workflow is how it all flows. So for some of you guys that have interacted with me, if you go to my bio and you click on my link, you get an option to do one of two things. And some of you have gotten my book. Some of you just book a call, right? And that's a workflow. Depending on which way you go, if you want the book, you'll get downloads. So check your emails. There would be a download for the book. If you just want to book a call, it moves you over so that you can schedule the call. And then if you noticed you got a Zoom link for the call, I didn't put that there. The system automatically goes over to Zoom, says Mike wants to talk. This person wants to talk with Mike. So it creates an appointment within Zoom. It gives you a link. And then now we have a call. You could have the same concept with a homeowner. Maybe your initial call with the homeowner, you could set up a Zoom, or you could just set up a regular phone call. It's whatever your comfort level is and where you want to go with your business. But this can all be happening in the background. And then for those of you that have booked a call with me, then once we have the call, you'll get a couple follow-up emails down the road. But if you missed the call, if you didn't show up, then I have a workflow that diverges, and it'll send you a message to ask you, hey, would you like to rebook or reschedule? Right? So it's a tree that goes like that. And depending on the action that the person took, it triggers which way and how I'm going to communicate automatically the Digital Foreman with them. All right. Again, it takes a little time to set these things up, But man, once you do, it gets so much easier to move forward. Okay, because you only have to set it up once, maybe once a year. You might go in and tweak a little bit of the message, but otherwise, it's all happening in the background. And I think what many of you are going to find as time goes on, you're only going to be relying on online more and more, right? You want to make sure you're setting up a Google My Business account and you're asking all of your customers before you even sell the job. You can talk to them about, what's great about nowadays doing business is homeowners like you. If you're really happy with my service, one of the best things you can do to tip me or thank me is write me up a review. We really appreciate those types of things. And so you understand that I'm going to work very hard for you, give you a good job. And the only thing I'd ask in return is when it's all said and done and you've paid me, would you write me a nice review? Just tell other people what the experience was like. I'm not asking you to make up stories. Just say, hey, I did what I was supposed to do. It was pleasant. I showed up on time. I completed it within the days that I said I would for the cost that I said I would, all those types of things. If I've honored my side of the agreement, please write that up in the review. And as you get more reviews, you'll find that more homeowners find you online, right? And then you can start automating the process because more and more of your accounts or your customers are now finding you through the online world. All right. So we've talked about how the average homeowner is worried. Hey guys, welcome. If you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. The reason homeowners tend to stall is because they're worried. They're not sure. They're nervous. They're scared of being ripped off. They're talking to more than one contractor, so they are confused. And they don't want to look dumb. That's really what it comes down to. Homeowners don't want to have to explain to their neighbors why some random person was there for a few days and then never showed up again and took all their money. Because this happens a lot. And nobody likes to talk about it. So, but that's what homeowners are most scared of. So our process, our sales process, the reason that we put things online and talk about ourselves, have an about us section, show some samples of our work, give something about you personally, describe like what you like to do when you don't work. Like, hey, I'm Joe. I own the company. I started 15 years ago and, I like to fish or whatever, or I'm a woodworker. I don't know. I play softball, whatever it is. Just let the homeowner get to know you a little bit so that they can recognize that you're a regular person, someone they can feel comfortable with if having them come over to their house. And if you can help do those things before you meet with them, then when you do meet with them in person and you're trying to see if they're going to sign the agreement, it's that much simpler because they already start to have trust with you, right? That's what an online presence is doing. We want it to help build trust before we ever have to meet with the homeowner. Because otherwise, it just takes a lot longer for us to build that trust when we are in person. All right. Skylight Saver, welcome. If you guys are new, let me know where you're from. If you have any questions, just pop them in. The chat can be about estimating, remodeling, anything you like. All right. So thank you, Sean. All right. So I have a concept that I call the Spark method. And I'm a big believer that we shouldn't be running out to homeowners' houses and giving advice for free. I will give a ballpark over the phone for free. But if you're asking me to visit you, and Fred, I mentioned this earlier, if I'm driving out to your place to do some sort of an assessment work using my brain, my knowledge, the 15 years of experience that I earned out in the field to possibly look at how to solve your problem, to me, you're asking me to do work. It's like going to the doctor. You can call the doctor up over the phone and you can describe your symptoms and the doctor will say, yeah, maybe you should come in for a visit, or maybe you should go to the hospital, or just go to CVS and get it taken care of. But if you're coming into the doctor as the next step for a office visit, there's a fee for that. In our world, if we're going out to do a visit, there should be a fee for that. okay? Because you're doing an assessment now. And that's my opinion. All right. So I find that helps me weed out my homeowners really well, because this happens quite a bit to remodelers, and it may not happen to you guys, but it happens in my area a bit. Homeowners will call me because they really want to hire their brother-in-law, but they don't trust their brother-in-law 100%. And the brother-in-law has already said, hey, I'll do your kitchen for you. But then the brother pulls this. Maybe they don't know what to charge exactly. So the brother-in-law says, why don't you get a couple estimates from some remodelers, and then I'll come out and look over the estimates, and then we'll come up with a price somewhere in the middle between what all of them are charging. So then you're being used as a price checker so that they can figure out how much to pay the brother-in-law. And I'm not into that game. Now, if you want to use my price, then you'll pay me to come up with that estimate. Then I'm okay with it. But I don't want to be doing that for free. And this happens a lot. And the homeowner's not going to tell you this, right? They're just going to say, you were too expensive, or we're rethinking it. And then you find out 6 months later, they went ahead and did the remodel. And they were hiring their brother-in-law the entire time. So that's where I came up with the SPARK method. All right. And this is what it stands for. You have the letter S, right? Welcome. If you're new, if you want any help with estimates or CRMs, please put it in the chat. So the S stands for you have to seek the goal. So basically, it's about communicating. I'm going to ask the homeowner a bunch of questions. What is it that they want to have as a result? What's the problem that they're having currently? And we have to help the homeowner recognize that they have the problem. The problem is something in their house isn't the way they want it. The problem is not my price. That's homeowners want to put the problem on us all the time, as if the price is the problem. No. The homeowner has the problem the entire time. They need something done. They could do it themselves, but they don't know how, right? Or they don't have the skills. They don't have the tools. They don't have the expertise. They don't have the time. They don't have the knowledge, whatever. So then that's their problem. There's always going to be a price to solve a problem. The price isn't my problem. It's their problem. We have to help them understand why there's variables in the price and what the price is made of. Okay. So we're trying to help them understand what is their goal. Are they looking for the cheapest? There are some people out there, and that is their sole goal in life, to find the cheapest. You should not work for them. And you can eliminate that over the phone half the time. It's just not worth it. If you're spending time working for the cheap person, because there's only so many hours in a day, in a week, in a year, you can't then be working for the ideal customer who appreciates you. Okay. So you guys, I think, follow that concept. The P stands for we have to prepare the stage. We have to help the homeowner understand all the moving pieces and parts and how complex. We make remodeling seem easy because we're good at it. And when you do that, the homeowner can underestimate your value. And they'll be like, you were only here for 2 hours. Well, the reason I was only here for 2 hours is because I've been doing this for 20 years. When I first started, that took me 8 hours to complete that task because I had to figure it out. But over time, I've invested in better tools. I've learned little techniques, tricks, right? I know to do this now instead of that. So I shouldn't get paid less just because I'm fast. I have to help the homeowner understand that there's still value in my expertise for being able to solve the problem correctly. So we want to get away from time and focus on results. That's what preparing the stage is. We want the homeowner to understand that our goal is to give them a solid result. And there's a certain level of skill, knowledge, capability, years of investment, training that goes into that. And yeah, we might be able to get it done quicker, but there's still a fee. I mean, if you've bought an HVAC system recently and it cost you $20,000 and the technicians were done in 2 days, it's not like they're making thousands of dollars per hour, these guys, right? The company builds it as a finished result. We're going to provide you with a system that's working at the end of the phase. And if I have 2 guys or 4 guys, the price is still the price. So we have to build in the homeowner's mind that, hey, when I come out, the final result is what matters, not the amount of time that it takes me. So when you're estimating, I would recommend not talking about time to the homeowner. Talk about the finished result. Okay. The other thing, the A, is we have to assemble a plan. This is where part of being paid to estimate is explaining to the homeowner that you need to have a proper plan to go forward, right? We all have to understand what's going to be done, how it's going to be done, when it's going to be done, with what materials are we going to do it, right? A description of materials, a scope of work, a schedule, and a final result. And for complex jobs, that's where a design, if you're doing a kitchen remodel, if you're doing a bath remodel, if you're building a deck, if you're building a fence, there should at least be a site plan. Like, hey, Mr. Miss Smith, this is where the fence is going to go. It's going to be this high. See where there's a hill right here? Well, that means I'm going to have to cut the boards with a taper. Like, explain all the variables so that they understand the plan. Here's where the gate's going to go. The gate's going to swing in. The gate's going to swing out. And that's part of the design or part of the plan. But you need to have a very clear understanding. You're walking the homeowner through visually, mentally, before it happens. So you can best anticipate if there's anything they don't like. All right. So that's the assemble the plan part of the Spark. That's how you get paid. You have to reveal the key features. So you want to focus on the things that you're putting into the project or into their house so that they get excited, right? Like when somebody goes and buys a car, typically things like leather, nice rims, air conditioning, a sunroof. Those are the things people focus on, right? The key features. All cars are going to have 4 tires. So it's not like I'm talking to the homeowner and explaining how there's 4 tires. But we might want to talk a little bit about the type of tires. So for instance, if you're doing a gate, you might want to talk a little bit about the way you build the gate or the type of hinges that you use, right? Or the type of locking mechanism, if it's something that's key feature, so that the homeowner can appreciate how you're doing something nice for them that's better than the bare bones. And then the last part is the K, and that's where I call it the kickstart with clarity. This whole plan is showing the homeowner that you are competent, you are capable, and that you can deliver from start to finish because you understand the whole thing. And most contractors are fly by the seat of their pants and they don't have a plan. They just take it one day at a time and they barely take notes. So that helped. Those are the concepts of Spark. Any questions on any of that? Who all is in here? Lake Art, B-Dale, Fred. Yeah. All right. I'll go with a couple more things, a couple more minutes here. So back to automations, right? So a lot of people, have you ever filled out a form online and you didn't know if it really worked or not? So most people feel much better when they get instant notification. For instance, hopefully when you signed up for my process in your email I think we have the default timer set to like 3 minutes. I believe within like 3 minutes, you'll get an email. And typically that makes the person feel good. Like, okay, the process went through. Because if you didn't receive anything from us for 24 hours, then there's a bit of uncertainty. You're like, I don't know. Did the guy get the message? Did he not? So automations that have some sort of a response back to the homeowner, that helps make them feel good. They trust that the process worked. Okay. So you want to understand that you have to have some sort of a lead response. And there's also a lot of trust that has to be built up. So This was a hard one for me at first. I didn't want my face online a lot. I'm more of an introvert person, right? So I'm usually the one who stands in the back. I'm never like front and center typically, or for photos, whatever. That's just not my personality style. I've had to learn that if I want to be a little more successful in business, it requires somebody in my company to be front and center. So if I'm going to be the owner and I'm going to drive the ship, I have to be willing to put myself out there. I have to get some photos taken of me. Maybe it shows me doing some work, you know, it shows me talking on the phone, driving my van, whatever. I need a couple photos of me because I'm the company. Now, over time, if you start hiring employees, you can shift the focus and start showing your team and introducing them on the web presence so that homeowners get to know your team. But if you've ever gone to like a generic website and they're just using basic stock photos, I find that most people don't connect to that. And you're only hampering your own success if you're just not putting yourself out there a little bit. I am not saying that you have to have your picture on everything in the world, but you have to do something. You have to have a few things out there so the person can get to know you. And I'll say this, we all get judged every day of the week, and that's just the way of the world we live in. It's better to have the homeowner judge us online than to wait till we show up and then for some reason they don't like us. They don't want anything to do with us. We could have eliminated all that by just having a picture so that they get a sense for who we are, what the company's about. That way, when we do show up, they're excited because they like us already. Okay. So do consider some of that as far as your trust building. And it does help to ask somebody who has some photography skills to make sure you have some good lighting, make sure that the background is nice, maybe stand by a tree or, by a solid brick wall on a house or the side of your vehicle. Have something that looks like a nice background, wear a shirt. Hopefully it has your company logo on it, or maybe something with a collar. I like to wear hoodies, so you'll see me in a hoodie all the time. But whatever. But just see if you can get a couple clear photos, okay, so that someone gets a sense of you. All right, we'll move on. You definitely want to have a filter online, some qualifications. So you want to put some things out there, talk about like your good service, talk about expertise if you want to attract higher end clients. If your goal is to attract cheap people, then advertise discounts on your website. All these companies that are giving $500 off, $1,500 off, that typically attracts a lot of discount buyers. So just understand the what you put out there is what you attract. What else? I would recommend you have a way for the homeowner to move through the process quickly. They should be able to book an appointment with you. I'm not saying that every homeowner is going to want to do that, but there are some. So I remember this early on. I used to always think that it was bad to try to close a deal on the first sale. For some reason, people had told me you should have 2 calls. The first call, you should just get the information. Don't be pushy. Just get the information and then send them the information later or have a second appointment. Then you see if they'll buy. And I had a gentleman one day, as I'm walking out to my vehicle after meeting with him, he described the project. We talked a little bit about some pricing. I said, well, I'll follow up with you. Let me crunch some numbers. He goes, do you want the job? And I was like, well, what do you mean? He goes, I'm ready to hire you. Like, let's figure out the numbers right now. There are people out there that want to do that. So that was a learning lesson for me. So I would suggest that you allow people to purchase quickly if they're ready to do that. There are people out there that are going to want to move forward right now. They know that they want what you have. They don't need for you to wait 3 more days to think about it. And all right, that's mainly what I've got to say. Anybody have any questions? Anything you guys want to talk about? Jessica, where were you? We started early tonight. You missed it, Jessica. Glad to see you in here. All right. Who else is in here? Any other questions? What do you want to know? What are you frustrated with about automations, CRM, workflows, triggers? Do those words make sense to you? Do you feel like I'm talking Greek? What's happening? My opinion, and just take it for what it's worth, I've always been my own bottleneck. My company has only grown as fast as I've grown. The first year I didn't do a website, and a guy told me to do a website. Finally, probably a year into the business, I hired a guy. I spent a lot of money on that website over 20 years ago, and it was one of the best things I ever did. But I resisted it initially, and when I look back in my own life and my own business, I knew what to do many times prior to me doing it. I always slowed myself down, my growth, my success. I would get in my own way. I would want to think about it more. I wouldn't be sure. I would say to myself, you're just going to be prudent. You're going to do a little more research. And really, it was because I was a little nervous. As I've gotten a little older in my business skills life, I've recognized that every time I recognize that I need something, that is my sign that you move forward now. That's why the world works this way. The reason I can recognize that I need it is because I need it. I don't need to think about it anymore. I've already been thinking about it. And now the solution's right in front of me. I just need to move forward. So when you hear me talk about some of these things, understand that I can appreciate I don't know where everyone is in their business journey, but I understand what it's like to be in a place where you hesitate a lot. And we do it and we think we're doing it to protect ourselves, to be smart. What we're really doing is protecting our small business self, because there's a part of us deep down that knows, well, bigger businesses do these things. And if I really say I want a big business and I start doing these things, I'm probably going to have a big business. And then what am I going to do? Right? Because it's more fear, it's more unknown. And anyway, just understand that that's how life works for everybody. Don't be your own bottleneck. Take the chances. What else? All right. Is there any questions that I can answer? Fred, anything come up from you from the call today? I know you've had a little time to process. Jessica, did you jump out? You were here, but it looks like you... All right. Anybody got any fun projects coming up that you want to talk about? You got how about estimates? Do you guys, what software are you using? You use Joyce, I think, Fred, to do your estimates. What else? Who else is in here? Okay. You got more? Good. Very all right. Yeah. It's all part of a process. So Travis, welcome. every night Fred's a little different on these lives. Some nights the questions I'm getting bombarded, I can't even keep up. Other nights not so much. So that's just the way it rolls. All right. Trying to think. Let me see. All right. So hopefully everything made sense from tonight and from today. What else can I talk about? Let's see if your business. I can. Yeah, Jobber. Yep. I would recommend taking a peek. There are CRMs are interesting. We have one, all right, and it does certain features. There are free ones, right? I think at the end of the day, you just want to find something that you use, that you know you can get someone to help guide you through it, so that you'll be utilizing it, help you figure out how to set it up, right? So hopefully, over time, you've been at least putting some customers' names onto a spreadsheet, possibly on the computer, because at some point, once you get into a CRM, you'll want to add all that in there. So CRM stands for, it's just a fancy way of saying customer relationship management. Basically, in the way I utilize it is, Fred, you meet with people, you meet with homeowners, and somehow you need to store their information, a database, their name, their address, their contact, right? Email, cell phone, the job that you bid, the job that you get. And that's not usually stored with just because you have a contract with them or you put the receipts in QuickBooks, that doesn't make it a CRM. A CRM would allow you to, let's say I have 100 clients that I just met with over the last 4 months. I met with 25 new people each month. Out of those 100, I sold 40 of them. So I have a database now of 100 people. 40 of them bought from me, 60 didn't. And I want to be able to pull all their emails out and then send a message. Like every month, I want to do a newsletter. Hey guys, this is Fred, local handyman service. It's November. It's going to be freezing soon. This is a good time to have someone go around, winterize all your outdoor spigots, make sure all your shutoff valves work. If you want a winterization checkup, I could do that for you. If you notice right now that maybe a couple of your shutoff valves don't work 100%, they leak, give me a holler. I can come out and put a new shutoff valve. You're just sending an email out that is helpful, and it talks about something that they might need to purchase, right? But you should do that every month. So the CRM helps you automate that, where you just type up the message that you want to send. Maybe it's, again, like in November is a good time, September is a good time to tell people, be planning for me coming out to clean your leaves in November, whatever. Like you figure out, maybe you do gutter cleaning. Whatever. It's a good time for you to come out and change the filters on their furnace. Look, maybe, depending on your skill set, whatever you want to get into, right? Come around, check all their windows, fix gates, anything. You just, once a month, you just send out some sort of a message, and the CRM helps do that. And then basically, then you can start sending out more automated messages to people. That's essentially how it works. Hopefully that answers the question. Exactly. Yes, you want, at a minimum, you want to be out there once a month. And I can share this from, so years ago, when I first got into the business, I used a fax machine. And a lot of homeowners, believe it or not, many of them had given me a fax number at their office. And that's where I used to fax over estimates or contracts. Okay, I've been doing this a while. I used to send out a monthly newsletter on a fax. I had a computer and a software program that would dial phone numbers while I was asleep at night and send the message via the fax. Okay. Over time, that transitioned to what now, like tonight, you could type up a message for the month of January. I don't know. Let's say you want to try to find homeowners that want to replace faucets. Maybe they're noticed in the wintertime when the water gets colder. A lot of times the spigot and the what's it called? The rubber O-ring shrinks. And so a lot of people's faucets in their house will leak a little bit in the wintertime. This could be a time where you say, hey, if your faucet's dripping and leaking and costing you a bunch of money, now's a good time to have me come out and I can replace the stem valve or whatever it is, right? Replace the faucet altogether. But yeah, you would type that message up tonight and then you just hit send and then boom, you could have it set up so that it sends the message out 6 o'clock the next morning, 10 a.m., whatever you want. Things like that. And it also, the CRM, Fred, the big thing would be for the clients who haven't purchased from you. You move them into the CRM and it will give you reminders to follow up. So based off of what you determine, let's say you want to follow up with every homeowner 1 week after you give them an estimate, or 3 days, and then 1 week, and then 2 weeks. Your CRM will have a dashboard on your screen. And when you turn it on every day, it'll give you a list of people you need to contact so that you can stay up to date with your tasks. So you don't have to remember. You just pop open your dashboard to your CRM and it says, hey, Fred, you need to call Sally. You gave her an estimate 3 days ago. You need to call Billy. You gave him his estimate 14 days ago. So that's what a nice CRM can do. It just reminds you of who you should be talking to that hasn't bought from you. And you never know. We shouldn't be afraid. Yes, Eric, thank you. There's a lot of money in our past appointments that we don't sell initially. And initially there's fear, right? I get it. You've gone out, you met with somebody, you've showed them your price, and they didn't say anything. So now there's this fear. But in my opinion, we get past that slowly by just saying, hey, I've taken the time to meet with you. There's nothing wrong with me following up till I get some response. You're either going to say, yeah, Fred, we've been too busy. We weren't sure, but yes, we're ready to hire you. Or, hey, we're not doing the job. Or, hey, we hired somebody else. But at some point, I don't see, I follow up with people to find out what is going on. Hey, did you give up on the project? Was there something I didn't address? You want to close the loop. You just don't want to leave it out there. So a CRM will help you do all that. And what I find is when my computer tells me it's time to call so-and-so, it takes the emotion out of it. And I just call them. And I don't second guess it. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I should wait another day or two. No, you just call them because it's time. It's been 7 days. It's been 14 or it's 21. We would help you set up these so that it's a system. And you just call them. And if they don't answer, that's fine. You just enter that you called, no answer. And then the system will remind you again, maybe in 2 more weeks. Hey. All right. So user My God, you guys got to put your names on your accounts. User, what is your all right? User 64. Where are you located? The masonry guy. You do foundations and brickwork. What part of the country are you in? Welcome to the chat, by the way, or the live. All right, you're in North Carolina. And do you work for homeowners directly, or do you work for builders and GCs? Are you a subcontractor? Riley, welcome. All right, you're a general contractor in the Midwest. How do I find more remodel or new construction jobs? All right. So the economy is booming right now. All right. First, we have to understand that. Second, we have to understand that there's always people doing projects. We just aren't always being contacted to participate in the process. All right. So if user 64, if I'm a subcontractor, I want to get in front of more GCs and builders. So I want to have a digital. Do you have a digital presence? Do you have pages on the web and social media accounts so that someone can find you? Are you set up with Google My Business? And Riley, same thing. If you're a GC, I'm assuming you want to connect with more homeowners. So do you have a digital presence yourself? Like if I am a homeowner and I've just moved into, let's say, North Carolina or the Midwest, and I look up your all services, am I going to find you? That's the first thing I'd make sure I have set up. If you guys have websites, put them in there and I'll take a peek at them for you. So, but there are, you don't have to trust me. You can Google this or go into chat and just type in your area and ask how many homeowners are moving in and out of your area every year. You'll be shocked at the amount of people. Okay, so Riley, that's good. Riley, are your vehicles, do they at least Kane Customs, okay? Do you have lettering or magnets on your vehicles? Do you have yard signs? When you're out and about during the day, are homeowners going to be able to see and say, oh, there's a GC. I need that work done. Right? When you go to the grocery store, or is your vehicle like, yeah. So think about this for a minute. And if I walk around in plain clothes all the time and I don't let anyone know what I do, nobody knows. I'll give you an example. I have a lot of logoed gear, and I can't tell you how many times something as simple as, let's say I'm getting lunch and I pull into some store and I'm in line getting my lunch. The person behind me, they might ask me a question. Oh, you're in remodeling? I'm looking at getting my kitchen done. And the next thing you know, I'm having a couple-minute conversation that never would have happened had I not had on my company stuff during the day, right? And the same thing goes for our vehicles. So those are two simple things. The other thing is you got logos, and then we have to come up, you do need an online campaign. You need a presence. You have to target people. And if you could handle more business. Okay. Yeah. So user 64, the masonry guy, you guys will want to go after GCs and builders, but you also have to understand that they're going to be skeptical about trying to hire a new person. So the more that you can do to make yourself look professional and trustworthy, the better. Okay, Riley, so you're in the digital game. Are you hiring someone to manage that for you, or are you doing it yourself? Okay, have you set up a pixel? And do you have different ad sets and campaigns? Okay. It's called an ad set or a pixel, and campaigns. When you Are you setting all of those up with Meta? Yeah, user 64, you're welcome. Please, yeah, the best, if you like the information, appreciate if you follow the account, and thank you for the likes. All that helps. If you follow my account, you can message me at any time. The other thing you can do, if you and your dad want to talk for a little bit, user 64, you can go to the my bio, and there's a link, and you can I have a book in there that you can download, and you could book a half-hour strategy call if you want. We could talk on the phone, on the Zoom, and look at your business and come up with a couple ideas. Riley, the same would apply for you as long as you're following the account. I do about maybe 10 a week. Fred, who was on here a few minutes ago, we just had one today. But yeah, so you can explain to me a little bit more about your business. There's no charge for it. It's free. And I could help you understand. But Riley, for you guys, yeah, just we need to talk, Riley. So here's the thing. Help me. Let me explain one thing about Facebook. Facebook and Meta would love to have you advertise. They'll take your money all day long, and they'll throw your ad out there. However, an effective ad has to have a hook, a headline, has to have good copy, has to have a call to action, right? We have to target our audience. We have to know who our ideal client avatar is, right? We have to have a description. Who are we trying to message? Who do we want as a customer? Because within Meta, we can filter and make sure that our ad is only going to the ideal person. We just don't want the ad being shown to everybody, because some of the people might not be our ideal type of client. They might not be our demographic. And you or the person that is doing your ad campaign has to understand how to do that, to set those parameters before you start spending all this money. The other thing is, and I can share more of this with you later, the way Meta works, the people that are getting a lot of success online, you have to build a history so that Facebook, Meta, Instagram understands who the best person for your ad is, so that it gets smarter and can keep showing it and target them. For a lot of you guys, if you found my account because it showed up on the For You page on TikTok, TikTok understood that for some reason you like to be in the construction remodeling space, that I'm in that space, and it showed you the video. Meta is smart enough to know when homeowners want to purchase remodeling, and it will show your ad to them if you help it get that smart. It's so user 64. It's you're not being left behind. You're already behind. So Yeah. Yeah. Just so thanks, Riley. Appreciate it. Please follow the account and then just download the link. It's all automated for you. You can book a call. Have a good one. So, user 64, yes, you need AI. AI is basically your business partner assistant. The way I use it, it's things that I would have had to hire people to do in the past. I can get so much more done now per day because I've incorporated automations and AI in there. Okay. So yes, you don't have to use it, but just understand that people that are using it are beating you, and they're doing it. It's much easier for them than it is for you. That's all. You're just having to work way harder than is necessary. So, user 64, you can yeah. So for instance, we have AI software that estimates jobs, and I'll give you an example. I meet with a homeowner. As I'm driving away, I can talk. I can put my phone in like a cradle, and I can go to my software, my AI software. I hit a button and I talk to it. I tell it, hey, I just met with a homeowner. They own a 1975's brick rancher. They want me to replace the entire brick chimney on the back of the house. It's 6 feet wide. It's 4 feet deep. It's 30 feet tall. Let's say you're going to repoint the brick, right? Tuck point. You're going to acid wash it, whatever you're going to do. You talk to it, and it starts building the estimate while I'm driving. And then I can see and I can say, hey, by the way, let's add this, let's add that, let's adjust this price. So now when I get back to the office, my estimate's already built. I just have to fine tune it for a minute. That's one way you can do it. The other thing is you can talk to one of the, like a Chat GPT or one of the other AI, and you can have it create your messages for all your follow-ups. Same thing. You can hit the talk feature while you're driving. You can say, I need to create an email to follow up with the Joneses. I met with them today. I want the email to say this and that. Please generate the email. Boom. While you're driving, the email is being generated. So now all you have to do is copy that and put it into your email when you're at like the next job site, if you have or you're in your office. So this is how people are getting business done now. I mean, these are just two basics. Those are very basic options. So let me know if that resonates or if you understand that process. All right. Well, user 64, I appreciate you being here and hopefully got some answers. If you have any questions, you can always reach out. We'll definitely be back for another live at another time. Perfect. So yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, you should be using as much as you can. And I'm just giving you very basics. There's a lot of other more advanced features that you can be using too. So I did on my YouTube channel under workshops, I did 100 days where I talk about AI prompts every single day. I give you a new way to use AI to help you with your business. And I go through all the phases of running a successful business: marketing, sales, hiring employees, uh, business development for you as the owner. So there, you can go onto the workshop page and just look for the 100 AI. I think it's called the 100-day AI challenge, and there's over 100 videos right there. So, all right. Well, I appreciate those of you that were here tonight. Thank you. And I'm going to hop out. User 64. Maybe we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again. If you've been begging a client to please pay you after the job's done, congrats, you've already lost. Let's be sure to fix that. But before I do, you like and save this video because you're going to want to watch this daily so you don't forget to have